Okay, so yes, now I'm live and DJ is live over on his channel, and we can get all this stuff taken care of. And I will have to say, I have been waiting and waiting to see how this thing was going to turn out. I'm super excited to talk about this tonight because I absolutely love Over the Garden Wall, and I'm hoping that after watching this entire thing that you love it too. So I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing all of your thoughts on this.
Okay,
There's a lot we can talk about.
I'm definitely gonna say love is not the word I will use,
Oh no.
but
Oh no. Now I'm more
but
confused.
but it is a positive takeaway.
Okay, well at least there's that.
So yeah, I'm I'm not gonna say that I love it, but I did enjoy watching this in its entirety. So,
Alright, but
but
I just love this because it is such a dense series. It is so much in every panel.
yeah, yeah, it is. Okay, so let's get into it with Lullaby in Frogland.
Yes. Lullaby in Frogland, which I will before we get into it, amazing music in this episode.
Uh,
Absolutely phenomenal music in this episode.
definitely. Okay, now what Greg Beatrice and Greg's frog sneak aboard a ferry whose other passengers include a clothed frogs. They disguise themselves as a member of the ferry's band when the band starts to perform with what we want to replay the bassoon. Grace Fogg unexpectedly starts to sing with when that frog started to sing it it amazed me because you know I felt like you definitely had an unforgettable character's name, but the WB frog, like,
Michigan J. Frog. That's what you're going with that.
yeah, yeah, uh,
Hmm. But you have to remember, you have heard this frog sing before.
yeah, yeah. I have, I'm just saying, like,
Yep, in the very first opening of the series.
yeah, yeah. I'm just saying, like, this instance reminded me of the Good J Frog. So, yeah. No, I did it. Okay, when they arrive at their destination, Beatrice, who had trained throughout the ferry, tries to convince them to stay in the unknown and not visit Adelaide. Okay, so this is my question for you. Is the whole forest just known as the unknown, or what's up with that?
Yes, where they are, like the entire place is considered the unknown.
Okay, okay,
Like every place that they've visited so far is just a part of the unknown.
okay. I mean, just, hearing that and reading it now in my notes, yeah, that's something I need to do. Uh, that night, Beatrice flies over to our house with Walt and Greg phone home in secret. The brothers learned that Beatrice allegedly planned to give the both to LA as slaves in exchange for a pair of scissors that would lift the cost on off herself and her family. LA attempts to capture Walt and Greg, but is killed by Beatrice. Beatrice attempts to explain that she had a change of heart as she grew attached to the brothers, but what is her by her betrayal and runs away with Greg. Now,
All right, so we finally arrive at Adelaide of the Woods. And
yeah,
yes, she is not at all what Beatrice had let her out to be, but there had been hints about that for quite a while, with her reluctance to bring them there. With every time that she was mentioned, she seemed a little bit nervous about it.
yeah, now I will say, I I felt like from the show that Adway would definitely be some older witch type character that, you know, initially would help the boys, but, you know, as they got comfortable with her, she would show her true colors to them. But no, this completely took it in the opposite direction of, oh, she's just a little old woman who wants to have young kids as slaves. I mean,
I will say, before we even get to the Adelaide stuff, we have to talk about the fairy and the frogs.
okay,
All right.
so,
So with the fairy and the frogs, well, one we just have full on, just frogs that are wearing clothes and being more upright. It-
yeah,
More than we've seen animals other than the ones at the school. Like we've had our talking horse, but this is the first like full on animal society that we've seen in the series
yeah, that's, I mean,
with their own
that,
currency, running their own business.
yeah, like, these frogs definitely reminded me of the the voice from the people in Meet the Robinsons.
Hmm. And we have Greg's frog who, and it's not immediate. It is over the course of the journey on the ferry where it slowly becomes more and more standing upright, more and more. I don't want to say human, but hell, he gets bigger over the course of the journey.
No, I mean, Greg's frog is definitely one that when he talks out is, she'll be held by Greg, but definitely of time he does get more anthropomorphic, and it gets to the point where he's basically be offered a record deal.
They're even giving him clothes at the end
Yeah,
when the other
yeah,
frogs start going into hibernation, and that's when they head off to Adelaide.
yeah,
And at that point, I thought, okay, I guess this is they're saying goodbye to the frog, and we wouldn't be seeing them anymore after this.
yeah. I'm not.
That's what I assumed was going to happen there.
Yeah, no, I get it. I tried that myself, but that didn't happen. I mean, they the flow stuck with them until the very end.
Hmm.
So, yeah,
Now with Adelaide, the bedridden old witch who holds the scissors and is just
yeah,
using Beatrice to get more human slaves to do her bidding. Yes, we all knew that that was a thing that could happen. Yes, it was suitably creepy. Um, I love that she captures them with yarn.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
that,
knitting and magic scissors, and that was really cool.
yeah. No, this really does do the fairy tale aspect that just a devil for.
Hmm. And that she's defeated simply by Beatrice opening the window. That's kind of wild.
Yeah, yeah,
Into a gruesome death.
it was definitely weird. Like, uh, uh,
And now we have Greg and Wirt escaping without hearing Beatrice's apology.
yeah,
And it leads to just like the first time that we see them without Beatrice since the first episode.
yeah. You know, I couldn't suspect the like this would happen due to the fact that it only being a limited mini series and they need to flesh out the whole drama of the show within these last 5 episodes.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
But yeah, so once they leave Adelaide, it is really the first time since the show began that they don't have a direction. Because ever since episode two, it has been they're on their way to Adelaide.
Yeah, yeah.
And now that is over, and now there's no way of knowing where they're supposed to be going. They could just be wandering forever.
Yeah, no, uh, when we get to episode 9, I will admit some a thought that I had, but I'm not gonna say it right now.
All right.
So,
All right. Well, let's get into episode 7, Ring of the Bell. Which,
yeah,
if you were worried about whether or not this thing would be a horror show, this is the one that lets you know. Okay, they can go there.
yeah. Okay, global and global fog. It cover the woodsman who wants them that the beast is ready to claim the they come across a rolling covers in which they meet a couple named Laura who has them from her caregiver and the whispers who is Alex sister and the whispers uses a magic bird to control Laura and make her walk constantly. Leslie becomes wicked. She also so warns that unwelcome visitors to our college will be devoured. The brothers help Laura escape by helping all visitors. Help will always just before they leave, Greg and his frog accidentally awakens in the whispers who warns that to stay away from Laura or they will be eaten. Now, in that restaurant right there, the whole I'm in dental to solitude because if I'm not a ghost book I crazy is a unique concept that I haven't seen much of, but the all community being country world is insane because given the real world physics, the body could only go so long without sleep. So,
Well, I'd say
hmm,
it's more sort of like a representative of old puritanical values, where it was believed that work keeps you distracted from doing wicked things. It's like if you're too
uh,
busy working, then you're too busy to do bad things. Like
yeah,
a kid that you know the old saying, idle hands are the devil's playground.
yes, yes,
So that's really all that's supposed to be.
uh, I got you, I got you. I got the lower transposed into a horrific demon. Greg Dixon's Sparker has eaten and the wistful smell what command the demon to leave Laura's mother and never come. Laura decides to save it, and the whispers as a for Laura and whispers what begins to is hope of every vagina which pleases the beast who is watching from afar. Now, okay, if what was able to come up with the idea of read the bell and say become demon and never return, why couldn't the whispers do that?
Well, I think it's partly that she believed that if Lorna was not afflicted by anything, she'd have no reason to stay. So part of it was her wanting to have a reason to be needed.
Okay, uh, now,
Um, so we finally find the source, or at least like where most of them are being kept for the black turtles,
yeah, well,
ones that have been scattered around the series, and apparently Auntie Whispers likes eating them.
yeah,
She's also Adelaide's sister. Um, and
but,
and yeah, the atmosphere for this entire episode was great. Nice and spooky. The undertones of horror just all through the whole thing. Um, the idea of being controlled by the bell and not knowing initially that it was for others' protection. We have no idea
yeah,
just how many people Lorna's killed.
yeah, no, like, I could only imagine, like, how many things really killed before Walt and Greg even came along. I mean, like, y- I, I would hate to say this, but, uh, I can't help but imagine that, you know, Walt and Greg aren't the only kids in this forest right now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
on where I would go is that they're just, fall behind the last set of kids, or, really ahead of the next set, and it's a repeating pattern. So that's what I would believe unless, okay.
The music again was absolutely fantastic. The duet between Wirt and Lorna was amazing.
Yeah, it was definitely a nice change of pace. Um, now, moving on to episode 8,
Wait,
they,
wait.
yeah,
Okay, all right. So, I do like the idea of the frog eating the bell. and it's established that it's still inside of it at the end of the episode.
Yeah,
Um, we get the warnings from Monica Whispers, and we get the knowledge that the beast is still on their trail.
yeah, no, that was,
That is important information that is established at the end of this episode.
yeah,
They
it
are
is,
being tracked,
yeah,
and that we can see the word is starting to give in to what's going on.
yeah, no, and what is beginning to lose hope, and I was wondering when that would have been just because I figured they're not gonna keep him up the somewhat optimistic throughout the whole series. And they need to give Greg a reason to want to help him, and we get that. We do.
With the next
So,
episode,
yeah. And Babe in the Wood. The the Bible is a great spot settle down a lake while the him the big singing and greatly means hopeful was what has given up. They reach land and sleep underneath a tree for the night. Greg has a dream of a angelic cloud city where he is welcomed by its residents. The festivities of council when the North Wind, who I didn't think they would be able to make win a character, but okay. It's released and substitutes Robin the city, but Greg manages to defeat it. The Queen of the Clouds appeals to Greg, allowing him one wish as a reward. He, wish, he wishes to find his way home, but the Queen informs but the but the Queen informs the wolf, who by now is covered in Elwood breakfast had already been planned by the beast and cannot return with him. Greg instead wishes to take good wolf's place and reads with the beast what awakens and chases after death but falls through the eyes. And nearly drowns before being saved by a fishing net. Okay, so the whole I will give my life for my balls in a classic on my balls keep throat.
right? Though I don't think he was like Greg wasn't like giving his life because he still believed that they were both going to get out. He thought he was just helping. He was. It's just he could have left,
Yeah,
but didn't want to leave without his brother.
that makes sense. Makes sense.
I do love the old homage to the 1940s, um, sort of Betty Boop style cartoon stuff.
Yeah,
That's stuff that like I loved and always love seeing more of or more references to.
yeah. No, I would say that the crowd city itself reminded me a lot of Wizard of Oz, with just they hold interacted with Gray. So that's what I see that.
Um,
Eh,
Also, so we have them up in the cloud city. We have things like released in the North Wind, and we have the reactions to the world below. So now I fully believe that everything that was happening in that cloud city was really happening. That it's not just a representation of things; it is what is happening.
yeah, no, I get it.
Because like the whole nature of the unknown is connected to story, going all the way back to the the characters being representative icons of like the whole thing going back to like the pilgrim, the butcher, all that stuff. It's who you are and the roles that you are playing in the story, because like the story itself is what is truly important in Over the Garden Wall. And with Wirt taking on the role, I mean, with Greg at this point taking on the role of leader and trying to protect his brother, that's what allowed him to get into this place where he would be able to fight off the wind and escape on his own. It's the fact that his brother was giving in and was not accepting the things happening around them that was leading to most of the problems. Because
Uh,
even going back to like episode one, Wirt tends to simply just let things happen around him instead of choosing for himself. When he does make choice, like when any character in this show makes a choice to do a thing rather than just letting things happen to them, it always works out. It's you don't let the choices be made for you. That's always the problem. It's what
uh,
happened with the the tea sellers, where they were just like afraid of checking things out until Wirt or Greg guided them into the other parts of the house. It's what happened with the schoolhouse. Anytime you sit around and wait for a choice to be made, bad things happen.
yeah, no, I hear you.
Sorry, I had to go on a little thing there.
Yeah, no, I got it. I got it. Okay, but no, I agree with you on all of that, and it's a good representation of you can't just wait for voices to happen. You have to make them happen.
Which
So
very much leads into the next episode too.
yeah, okay, so into the unknown is pointing out the events that happened before the first episode on Halloween. What has just finished made it a audio cassette.
Just a moment for me.
Okay?
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, yeah. Okay, coordinate audio cassette, a audio cassette for his Coursera with uh Greg gives the tape service with okay with good that Warren Gray wrote separately to go out Halloween dress and we figure out what their dress as they are. I mean, Greg's supposed to be a elephant and Walt just tried to go this gnome costume.
Yeah,
So,
that's the idea that I got. That he was like a gnome.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's the only way I was able to look at it. Um, yeah, Greg gives Detective Service, but uh, he took walk that number, Jackson Fundle Beagle,
Jason
into
Funderburger.
vocal. It just,
He's the whole package. You have to remember that.
yeah, it just to uh, call out a pop in that night was okay. Let's address Jackson Wonderful Michael.
Okay, so about Jason Funderburger. Um, he is literally just Greg's insecurities. I mean, works insecurities. It's like he's just a guy. He's just a guy. There's nothing. He's not a bully. He's not super popular. He's just literally a guy. And I
Yeah,
love that about him.
yeah. No, when I saw him, I was like, really?
This is who he's
This?
worried about.
Yeah,
Because that's
like,
not who he's worried about. He's insecure about himself. And
yeah,
Jason is
no,
just, yeah, it's just an outward manifestation of his inward fears.
yeah, no, definitely. Like, I, I could, I completely imagine Jason being this football jock of a guy, not a, oh, I'm annoyed and, I'm just, hey, Sarah.
Yeah, well, because that's who he is in Wirt's head.
Yeah, yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah, in Wirt's head, he's just this confident. Well, he actually is he is more confident than Wirt. Wirt would never do the things that Jason Funderburger was doing. He never take that plunge, and that's what causes most of the problems. Because everybody likes Wirt, even Jason, even Sarah. They all like him. They all know him. You have things like him saying that he wasn't invited to this party, so he can't go in. When he walked in, everybody was just happy to see him. Your audio just cut off.
Like, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Uh, but definitely no, hey, this is what if, Jason's not someone to be intimidated. Uh, Now, I will say that the whole, let me, like, well, no, what putting the tape in Sarah's jacket and try, trying to get it back was mission somewhat possible if he had the guts to actually do it faster than he did.
Yeah.
The and the whole oh come to Glasgow with us and let's hang out and at the Glasgow you could clearly see that Sarah's not into Jason at all. I mean,
Right. She's been trying to talk to Wirt all night anyway.
yeah, the,
It also does establish quite a few things. It establishes what they're wearing, like that they're wearing costumes. It lets
yeah,
us know where Greg got his candy from that he was leaving the trail at the very first episode.
yeah. I was
Why does he have
feeling,
candy? Because it's Halloween.
yeah, the now, the whole over the golden wall title would get addressed because they literally were over a golden wall
Well, technically, it's a
and
cemetery wall.
center wall and just ended up drowning in a river bank with, forgive me, but I never thought a Cartoon Network show would so kids drowning to their death. I mean,
Well,
like,
almost to it.
yeah, almost sorry. But, yeah, that's definitely not what I expected at all.
Well, hey, some of the clues were kind of there.
I mean, yeah, they will.
I would say it's a little bit like all of those um, Ash Ketchum is in a coma theories.
Well, yeah, well,
Only this
mm,
one's actually happening.
yeah, yeah, it is.
Um,
Okay.
there are sort of clues for like the full series based off what happens in that episode. Um, we also see where the Rock Facts rock came from.
Took it from the April, I'm gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, like, alright.
Um, so yeah, we get that. We get them falling into the unknown. We get them being on the train tracks with a train about to
Yeah,
I
no,
will
like,
say. during the opening for the episode, you do actually hear the train coming.
Yeah, you do. I do remember
It's
that one.
very faint, but it does get louder over the course of the series.
Yeah. No, I got you. I definitely heard that in this episode. And, you know,
Hmm.
it was good to have that resolved for the most part. Hmm.
But yeah, but after that happens, we do have Wirt wake up, and he's with Beatrice's family, and we finally get to see them.
Yeah, no, like, that's one thing I've been wondering is if we would see whole family at all in this. Like,
Hmm.
they mentioned them a lot, but, you know, I never thought they would make a on-screen appearance. So, yeah. But not like the mom fear walked out and he really ate a bite of it before he left. That was insane to me. Yeah.
But as our man Wirt heads out into the wilderness to try and rescue his brother, that brings us to the final episode, The Unknown.
Yeah. No, I mean, this as a climatic episode, I expected a lot from it. I appreciated what we got, and in and definitely in big fun, good performance, meaningless task.
Hello, Jacob. Good evening. We are just finishing up our discussion for Over the Garden Wall, and I hope you either enjoyed or are still enjoying this and the show.
Yeah, okay, okay, so she is blown away by the one crashing into wall. The wolfman finds great transform into a elwood tree. The
Now
beaver,
that piece you actually see was broken off during the first episode when he was coming back in and fell underneath the table there. So that was
yeah,
established as being there.
okay. Uh, the beast attacks to position to use grave. I feel forest ritual. When war and victory arrive, they try to break the elbows of grave. What names grave frog such a bundle of the base of to keep graves alive in the land if war takes over the duties of keeping it lit. What is tempted to accept this awful realizes that Toronto actually contains the beast intro, which I I will admit I saw that coming. Like,
Really? Okay. I will say that that also leads into the whole idea of accepting the deal, just accepting things as they are and going with the flow being a bad thing. Where if he had just accepted the deal without looking into things, it would be what is causing problems rather than just dealing with the problem.
yeah, I got it. Um, the in but realizes yeah, he frees Greg against Bigfoot's allies, so they head off as the woodsman resistance the beast and lives, and the beast lies, and extinguishes the flame, ending the beast's life. Now, that in itself is a nice answer. Like the thing that everyone has been afraid of just disappears by blowing out a landlord. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Now, what was in the pond? Holds like its farm to surface. The blow was taken to the hospital. What wakes up surrounded by Greg, Sarah, and all friends, and invites Sarah to listen to the tape at his house. After they listened to like 10 old tapes before that. The frog summer grows with like that boat, so in fact, back in the unknown, the woodsman finds his soul alive, and their troops and all family have been from to human foes. Now, I do appreciate the joke at the end, but the moral is like, you don't even know themselves, they're not moles anymore. Like, yeah, mom, drop it.
I would like to see if you notice certain things about the ending. One being, where is Beatrice's family at?
Uh, 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 nah. Yeah, when I looked at it, it looked like they were dressed in a random colors.
They are at the
Well,
mill. The
okay,
mill from the old mill of the first episode, because that
yeah,
is their house.
okay,
If you remember at the first episode, the woodsman said that he found this place and moved in recently.
yeah, that's right.
You'll also notice that there was a dog there with the family at the end. That dog is the dog that had been turned into that creature by eating a turtle in the first episode. That's Beatrice's dog.
Okay, so the well, the basically drawing connected to the beginning and so yeah, I got you.
Yeah, the woodsman returns to his actual home at the end, and that's where he finds his daughter who is alive.
Okay, Pines is a I was used that literally she basically comes out of the college
Right.
and he's she's right there waiting for him.
Yep.
Like, okay.
We also have weird things like the bell still being in Jason Funderburger when they get back.
Yeah, no, like you I mean you would imagine that bell wouldn't really exist in the real world, but it does. So
Mhm. Another thing is, you know, we get the reason why Greg got rid of the coins he was given by the tea house owners in the previous episode. It's because
yeah,
they called him a good egg. They called him a good boy. But because he stole the rock, he did not believe himself to be worthy of the gift. He is not view himself as good.
yeah, no, I see what you mean by that. I do.
Yeah,
Alright.
there's so much of that stuff, and it all does connect. Um, we get we get Wirt and we get Wirt and Sarah who are going to actually listen to some music together. We get everybody getting their own little epilogues. We see what happens to all the characters. It is so good, and everything connects, and everything has meaning. And that's what I was trying to say before with don't worry, it'll be explained later. Because everything is explained later. This is a
Yeah,
tight
no, I
script.
do.
Um,
No,
so your overall opinions on this, I need to know.
okay, overall, I mean, it's a good series, like, you, like, okay, I wouldn't classify it as in my top 10, top 5, but this is a series that, you know, if it was just on the TV and, I happened to sit down and it came off, I wouldn't turn it off. Uh, so,
Okay, I
yeah.
gotcha.
No, it's definitely good.
You like it, but um it's not a religious experience for you or anything.
Basically, yeah.
No, I got you on that. But I'm glad that I could share it with you because it is something
Yeah,
that I do love.
yeah. Now, okay, I do have to ask you about one thing because I'm gonna be watching it as we're done here. Have you watched the 10th anniversary stop motion show that they did? back in November.
No, I have not watched that yet.
Okay, I'm going to actually and just so I could see what happens afterwards, but that's just me and my curiosity
All right, just
for
for
that.
fun. All right.
But
Um, but yeah, this show was great. The songs are great. All the songs
yeah,
have meanings and can be explored. It's just to me a great show.
yeah, I got you. It's definitely a good one. Now, I will say, because you won't be here Friday, I can't wait for next Tuesday when you and I get back to
A
watch
great show.
Cleopatra in space.
Yep.
That could be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting started on that.
Uh, with that being said, I will end the air and start you next week.
All right. You have a wonderful night, and for everybody who tuned in, thanks for watching. I will see you all later, taters.
Yeah, bye, guys.